Hey everybody, Amy McDonald here. Welcome back to another really powerful conversation all weekish long. We're talking about what can you be doing in your business right now that you might have been putting off, you might have been avoiding things that have not been as appealing up until this point. But if you've, like me, watched everything on Netflix, Marie Kondo'd the shiz out of your entire house, and like eaten all of your provisions and almost used all of your toilet paper, guess what? It's finally time to stop procrastinating and get on with sorting out some things in your business. So today we're talking money with my guest, Chioma Njoku, who is joining me from Chicago. Where are you?
Chicago, Illinois.
I like Chicago,
as we say.
I like Chicago. Chicago and Melbourne, they've got some stuff in common, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not the biggest, fanciest city, but kind of, there's culture there. I think there's some overlap. Got a similar feel.
Yeah. I have a future trip coming if we're allowed to fly. So
when, girl? When? So tell everybody about you. What's your business? Give us the bio piece to start with.
Sure. So I am a yoga teacher, 200 hours. And I did and still do the yoga teaching. But one thing I saw, I wouldn't even say over time, almost right away, was that there's some money stuff. So I'm a trained accountant, even before a yoga teacher, like ran an accounting department, did the auditing, let my CPA license lapse. But so I'm an accounting person.
Yeah.
And yoga was what highlighted my issues, my own personal issues with money. So just because I know how to count it doesn't mean I know how to manage it.
Or you know how to manage it for someone else.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did. Yeah. So when did you do your teacher training?
I did it 2014, the summer of 2014.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you do classes? Next time I'm in Chicago, can I come to a class?
Sure.
We'll find you. We're going to come and find you, and then we can talk about how much we love money afterwards. So
yes.
So what? Tell us more about what drew you to, I guess, the confluence of these two things. Because for a lot of people, they're actually, almost irreconcilable in terms of difference. Yoga teacher and money and wealth management and fiscal responsibility. They're not the same thing. What drew you to draw them together?
So the worst thing, one of the worst things, I won't be that dramatic, but actually being too broke to teach yoga, I was like, that's a problem. So I don't want to generalize, but I did let's just say for my region, I used to live in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
And it seemed like it was the thing, to be a successful yoga teacher meant teaching a lot of free classes, not standing your ground for how much you get compensated. Basically, don't talk about money at all. And somehow everything will work out until I got to a point where I was debating between putting gas in my car or feeding my dog.
Yeah, wow.
So it then became something that I never really had to deal with money like this before. Like working in corporate, you set it up all up front, you do your negotiations, and it's just done. You just
goes into the bank. Yeah.
But with yoga, it was just always around the whole money thing, the whole making money is not yoga-like. You need to have a rich husband or wife to make money. Oh, you're all about money.
Yes.
And honestly, I was like, okay, maybe I don't talk about it. Maybe I don't ask to be paid. And so when that happened, that as in like I couldn't afford to teach yoga. I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm not serving anybody.
Yes.
So
I can't remember who it was now, but I remember talking to a very established yoga celebrity, and she was saying how part of the problem is that the idea about teaching for free is actually fostered in a lot of 200-hour yoga teacher trainings, that what you get taught then is to get going, you go out and you teach your friends and you teach for free. And it hadn't dawned on me, but she was right. This is a lot of the programming that new teachers get, is that you should start out charging nothing. and be
Yes.
grateful for it.
That was definitely my process. I taught, gosh, almost for a full year, just 3 classes. And that was I mean, it was great for getting experience, but I'll tell you like over time, the excitement wore off. Um, so but I would say, I'm not saying it's okay that the studio owners or whomever taught us that or accepted this practice. I would think that they are doing what they're taught as well.
Yes.
So I find that a lot of yoga business leaders, there's this mold
Yes.
of what it means to be a yoga business and a yoga teacher. And it's just the karma yogi concept that eventually drove me nuts. Like, basically it's just free labor. Like, I hate to say you're using people, but you know, they don't mean to, but it's just bad information just passed from person to person to person. And I am going to call it bad information. You know, it's bad when the outcome is a person can't afford to teach anymore. That's not right.
Well, it's also, I think it's degrading for our profession. What other profession would you study that amount? And then they'd say, okay, you have to do it for free for a year before you can. Who else? What else that you could study that amount of time and get some kind of qualification would then expect you to do it for free?
Yeah.
No
one.
No.
No one.
So this was your own experience, and despite the fact that you had a background in, like, you know, money management as working in accounting, you still found yourself into this place. What was you had the moment where it was gas or dog food. What did you do then? Like, how did you start to change things up?
I actually had to start taking a look at myself. So what I realized was that I was easily influenced. My motivation was in terms of success was external. So the reason why I wouldn't call myself successful, but I was looking for an external beacon of success in my corporate life, and I met that.
Okay.
And then for yoga is that same external validation. So in this case, it was not trying to have money because I want to be yoga-like. It's a martyr complex. And that's when I was like, okay, what's my why? Why am I a yoga teacher? Because I seem to have forgotten that I'm supposed to serve the people that come to my class. I'm of service. And instead I've been trying to serve myself in a weird way, serve my own ego. Is not always a bad thing, but okay, serve my own ego in the common sense. So it was a lot of self-reflection. I actually started reading a lot of personal finance books, and really started to see a pattern in terms of what they taught, in terms of whether it's the systems, like the envelope system, how they move money, being very conscious. And I was very unconscious about not just money, but a lot of things in my life. But the one thing that I started to do when it came to money, because at that time I was making only $350 a month, US dollars per month. Love the facial expression.
Was that still in Texas then?
Still in Texas.
I've never been to Houston, but I'm presuming that the living expenses there aren't so low that $350 a month is like, you know, dream lifestyle.
No. No. I had some savings, but I was going through my savings pretty fast.
Yeah.
So I had to do something. And I pretty much had to be broken down in order to build myself back up.
Interesting.
So I'd move 1%. Anytime I got paid, I would just move 1% from my checking to my savings account, like before I paid a bill, to see if I could survive off of that $3.50 that I moved. If I'm okay, then life is okay. And it was like I was proving to myself that I knew how to manage money and I could just make it work. And I did. And for about 3 months, I finally started looking at my finances. I finally started to see what's important. And then it was like, okay, the universe was like, I know the universe, right? Something outside is like, hey, money, you're welcome to have more money. So my income started to grow, and I kept to that 1%. 1% became 2, 2% grew to 10. Then I added more. It's like the bank accounts grew. Then I added operating expenses instead of just like needs and savings and operating. And then I added another bank account for taxes. Well, taxes was mixed into my needs, and I separated the taxes. And that's been my system ever since. It's just being very intentional with how I manage my money, made bookkeeping a lot easier, and super creative too. Like it kind of became fun to just.
There'll be people watching this who are like, that is never going to be fun for me. And I was one of those people, but I got to tell you, I know for me, when I was like broke and righteous about it, I am so broke because I was really going there. Like that was the Amy with the shaved head for 12 years because I could save on shampoo. Like I had bad.
Wow.
Yeah, really bad. Like, yeah, anyway, we won't go into that, but bad. And then when I started to do my work and so I'm changing my money story, similar process. And what do you know? Things start shifting and it's all sort of becoming easier. And so then I started to upgrade things and I bought my first pair of like real yoga label pants, and like that's really sexy. And then you overhaul the wardrobe and then you buy the whatever and it's slowly. But I got to tell you, the sexiest thing ever is when you have that account that the money just goes into for the tax, so that when the bill comes, it's like, whatever. Here,
exactly.
whatever. That I would forego Lululemon for the rest of my life to have that sexy, I've got this empowered woman feeling. You described about those accounts. I never thought that I would find that fun, but man, it really is.
Yeah. When tax season is like it's like here, you don't sweat over it. It's just done. Next.
No.
You can focus on more important things.
Totally. And the number of teachers who say to me, in fact, a client was sharing with me the other day that she got hired by the new studio in her town. It's a really chic space. She was really excited about it. They had a meeting. She had lots of great ideas. They were super keen for her to start. And then she was preparing, getting ready for whatever she was going to teach. And then they rang her and said, actually, we're sorry, we love you, but we can't have you come and teach because if you teach here and it's successful, it will put us up a tax bracket and we don't want to pay more tax. Like this sort of thing about people dimming their light because of not wanting to pay tax, or people who aren't, I don't know what it's called in the States, but if they're not registered for GST or VAT in the UK, so that they don't want to earn too much because then they'll have a higher tax obligation. And I just think, wow, you're playing small, and this is such a limiting belief. When people need your gifts, you need to let them out so that people can receive them, not hold them all tightly because of a tax implication.
Yeah. There's this, it's interesting how even at the end of the year, like around the holiday time, the New Year holiday time here in the States anyway, maybe where you are at too, there'll be a lot of businesses saying, hey, tax deductible, you don't want to pay all that money on your profit, go ahead and buy our stuff. And I'm just like, no, don't. But you'd be amazed at how many business owners, they have this fear of having a profit, having something left over because they don't want to pay the tax. And I think people assume that if they make money, it all goes to the tax authorities, and that's not true. No. It's just a portion.
You make more money, you pay more tax, but you keep more money.
Yes. Yes.
What are some of the other things where you've seen yoga teachers get into some sort of money nonsense? What are the other, are there other patterns or behaviors that you've noticed that we tend to have around money?
So besides the making money is not yoga-like, and so the freeness, I see the image thing. So I don't want to, I'm generalizing.
Come on, do it. We're going to laugh at ourselves. If folks, you can DM the two of us if you identify yourself in one of these stereotypes. I'm prepared. I just told everybody I shaved my head to shave on shampoo. Come on, go for it. Tell it like it is.
Because yeah, I can relate to the whole like, oh yeah, you know, you materialistic people, and deep down inside, I was so miserable. But let's see, spending a lot of money on yoga clothes because it's tax deductible. So the whole tax thing. And I'm not saying don't spend money on yoga clothes. You know, we need to have some clothing on. But when it's like, oh, if I don't pay anything down the line, so I'll just give all my money to Lululemon or Alo or
Whatever.
what brand out there. So I've seen a lot of that.
So you can't afford any normal clothes. Is that why? Is that the prevalence of active wear at all times? Because people actually are only buying clothes that are tax deductible. Maybe no one's got any. No one buys jeans anymore because you can't buy those off.
I have to watch myself. I'm like, oh, I'm like one of those people now. I don't wear jeans. I haven't even like rolled out my jeans, and I haven't worn them for almost 2 years. So, oops. I'm one of those.
Okay, so we buy stuff that we may not need. What else do we do? What else are some of the problems we do?
There's an image of the acai smoothie bowl concept of just, you know, it's good for being healthy and all, I suppose, but it's like an image thing too. Yeah, the coconut water, I think, or are we onto something else now? Anyway, but yeah, I saw a lot of food buying, getting as much music as you can, because it is technically is tax deductible, unless they change that. So buying a lot of music, a lot of yoga mats, and so this is a thing that saddens me. It's sad, but at the same time, I'm like, now a teacher wants to educate themselves. They want to, whether it's 500 hours, another 200-hour training, some kind of training.
Yes.
They don't have
training. We're overtraining, I think.
Yes, actually that too, overtraining. And even crowdfunding, the group fundraiser?
Yeah.
To help for other people to donate to them so that they can get educated. So I saw that and still see a lot of that.
Really?
So
I'm starting one.
I'm
starting a GoFundMe. I'm starting the Amy needs to go to LA to study with her teacher GoFundMe campaign. You can all really, people that have there are people that brassy with asking for that sort of, wow.
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
And it's like, no judgment. I know there's listen, it's just when you see the same person doing it over and over again, it's like, all right.
No, there's a difference between, I've been through serious adversity in my life, and my number one dream is to become a yoga teacher. Please help me do this thing. And I just don't want to get my shit together and make my own money. So please help me do this thing. They're wildly different GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Okay, so we buy too much. What about undercharging? Not free necessarily, but not fearful of raising rates, or fearful for actually charging our worth.
Yeah, that's still, I think it's an issue.
Yeah.
What I love is that there's more business coaches like you. Maybe I'm starting to pay attention. I will say that, but there's more people out there.
We've just pixeled you. That's all that's happening. Your algorithm. Yeah, I think you're right.
So that helps, but I feel like there's still this mindset really that the cheaper you are, the more people will like you. And it goes back to that value. Like, we're actually training people, when it's non-yoga people, to devalue our work. Yes. So now they're not taking yoga seriously, right? They're coming in, they're expecting to pay nothing. They take a class, then they hop to another studio that has a better deal.
Yeah.
So that's the unfortunate part about undercharging. I actually do think, because I was at one point a CrossFit level 1 instructor. Okay. And when CrossFit was, at least in my town, like really becoming popular, I was really amazed at how much people would pay and were paying per month to take a class. And some of the monthly fees were about $300, $500, $750 a month. People were paying it. and they got the value. They got it did something to their
Yes.
mind that they
Yes.
committed.
Yes.
So I think really as yoga teachers, as yoga business personalities, we can increase our fees.
Yeah.
You know, we need to believe in our service. That's really what it's about, is that belief, and not focusing on what other people are doing, but what value are we conveying? So I think it's more of that inner work, really.
I agree with you completely. One of the subsets of this pattern that I see is I'll have people come have a session with me, and I can tell that it's starting to, like you and I have obviously been through, you can tell it's starting to emerge, that they're starting to understand that actually, if I'm honest with myself, even though it's uncomfortable, I know I'm worth more than this. But then they hit this upper limit because their teacher doesn't charge more. And there's this sort of like, well, it's my teacher and I need to be respectful and I could never charge more than she does. This extra layer of keeping people stuck, sort of respect for the teacher because they're looking to the teacher to be their money teacher as well as their asana, pranayama, whatever teacher. So have you seen that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then the question I would ask is, are you serving your teacher or are you serving your students? Who are you serving?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
And maybe your teacher gets to be your teacher for those things.
Mm-hmm.
But there might be someone else, like some other person that's going to help you with the wealth consciousness piece.
Yeah. Yes.
So what do you do with yoga tea? How do you support folks? Tell us about, other than teaching yoga, like how else do you help people with all this money stuff?
So I support teachers. I support people privately one-on-one, and I'm actually soon to be released group workshop called Master Your Money. Ooh. So one-on-one is really like setting up the structure. Because yoga teachers, we tend to do our bookkeeping and financial management by ourselves.
Yes.
I actually don't think, I will say this, this could be a mindset issue, but I don't think that hiring a bookkeeper when you're solo and you're still working on your money stuff is in the best interest of the teacher yet. I think it's good to connect. It's giving away the power.
Yes, I totally agree.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I might have taken food off my table. Not really. No. But really to look at your finances, connect to it, and see the result. Like your teaching creates this result. Yes. And just understand that connection, and just it's like making friends. Just hang out with friends, have the coffee date, and just sometimes it's simply looking at your bank balance or looking at the bank details, just simply looking, not doing anything with it, just take a look, connect.
I don't think you're taking food off your table, because here's the difference. And this I recommend, not in terms of bookkeeping specifically, but I recommend this with other services, like build my website, run my Facebook ads. If you're so scared of something that you just give all of the information to somebody else and get them to do it, you have no control or insight over what's actually happening. But what I'm hearing you describe is you're working with people, so they're learning in the process, like guiding, like, let's look at this together. Let's understand this together, rather than I'll take all the stuff and sort it out, and you never have to worry about the fact that you're rubbish at money. Actually, let's go on a journey together, and then with the view to you becoming independent and being able to do this yourself. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Much more empowering.
When I first started doing the bookkeeping, I came out, I shifted, I wouldn't say, I dialed down the yoga teaching. I started doing the bookkeeping, and I took it like I used to as an accountant, basically. Just like, oh yeah, I'll do your bookkeeping. And I was trying to communicate with, whether it's a yogi or another type of business owner, and they didn't want to talk to me. It was like, here, do it. Talk to me when it's done. Yeah. So I realized I wasn't serving them that way. It wasn't fun. It was definitely not fun for me, and it's not about me, but it was like, help me help you. So now it's really, we're a partnership. It's if I'm helping you organize your finances in whatever shape or form, whether I'm doing it, but I'm keeping you informed,
Yes.
or I'm teaching you how to do it. This is a partnership. We work together, and it's your money. So you have every single right to know what's going on. It's
Mm.
not some secret that there's no secrets here. This is your money. So yeah, I have
Seriously,
that respect for you.
I just think this is one of the sexiest subjects out there. Like seriously, I know for people who haven't got their hands into it yet, I got to say there is something so just feels so steady and grounded about knowing where your money is, having some kind of a plan. So if something goes wrong, you're going to be okay. Having not being all fearful, but having some kind of future kind of contribution plan, having all of your payments squared away, it really just feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Talk to you forever, but except for it's the middle of the night right now for you. Tell us, how can we stalk? First of all, how can we stalk you on the internet? Tell us all of your social things.
So socially,
Where do we get you on Insta?
Instagram, my handle is at mindfully Chioma. And
Okay,
it's so
got it.
funny. And I do have a yoga one where I just do pictures and things. So it's chi_fit yogi. I'll type all these out. So CHI_fit yogi.
We're going to stalk you on both. We're obsessed with good Instagram accounts in this community. Okay, great. Website, please.
The website is themindfulbookkeeper.com.
So good. So good.
Thank
And
you.
so, I understand that you may have some resources or some goodies that we could go and take a look at. Do we just head to your website and noodle around, or is there a particular link? Just go to the homepage. What's the best way to see what
Yes.
you've got?
So two direct ways, at
Okay.
least. I'll pop it in my in my social as well. But directly on the website, the homepage, there's a check-in, as I call it. Like, I think awareness of what your finances, like how you relate to your finances. Sometimes we just need to sit down, get quiet, and just write. So I
Ooh,
just I take you all through a journey about an hour. Grab a cup of coffee, write some things down, and so that's on my homepage.
I love
And then I
that.
also
Okay.
have a direct link to that too. So
Okay, cool. So it's floating around here. However you've ended up here, it's either in the comments if you're on YouTube, it's in the session notes if you're on the podcast. It's around. Look for the
yes.
link. That sounds fantastic. I like that. Like a self-care date with your money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Very nice. Hey, thank you so much for giving us all a pep talk. And again, if sort of the overarching premise of this series of interviews is sort of, stop avoiding the stuff you've been putting off. I love the way that you've invited us to take a loving look at our money in a way that leads to greater empowerment rather than further sort of disassociation and perpetuating, like you said at the top, perpetuating these kind of money myths that seem to be prevalent in the yoga industry. Has been great.
Thank you. Thank you.